53% of Nigerians are facing unemployment, 40% of that 53% being the youth, with 100 million Nigerians set to fall into extreme poverty by the end of year 2022. It is clear to see that Nigeria has a problem. Nigeria has a problem. For the past 6 years, the large giantess has been feeling the slap back of consecutive economic recessions, a growing population, all while being crippled by mediocre leadership that you cannot criticize. Why, please don't arrest me. Sapa was one of the trending terms of 2022, right alongside trenches and God abeg. Now, how did this problem start, you might be wondering? You might be tempted to assume Nigeria's current problem started when General Bubu came to power in what is probably the most infamous government till date. And while you would be partially correct, we have to go back, way back. Enter the 1970s and everything changes when OPEC attacks during the OPEC crisis of the same time. Now, we won't go into that in full details, but in summary, a couple of rowdy oil-producing nations gathered to form a cartel to regulate and fix the world's oil supply.
Are you sure about that?
Fix the world oil supply, yeah, that sounds like a bigger joke than it actually turned out to be. Now, this crisis would lead to the significant changes in the world oil market and the prices of oil that would leave the sky behind. The boom in oil production, demand and pricing would lead Nigerian lawmakers into passing egregious ceiling policies which would allow oil to start slowly replacing agriculture as Nigeria's major source of foreign exchange earnings. Now, this simple slight shift in focus would have detrimental effects on changes to come. The transition to democratic rule in 1999 would see a dramatic worsening of this issue. Greedy politicians would begin to use Nigeria as a personal wealth mine, embezzling billions in dollars and beginning a downward spiral we are all together familiar with now. The Nigerian Civil War is undoubtedly one of the darkest and most violent events to ever have taken place in the country's history. It would mark the turning point for the nation from one that sought the financial emancipation of its citizens to one that would begin to break its citizen class down into mere resources used to line the pockets of politicians. The aftermath of the Civil War would mark the birth of a system that enslaved its citizens via weaponizing poverty and illiteracy, exploitation of tribalism, and a reduction in the standard of education. All of this would serve to create a new class of electorate, one that was uneducated, uninformed of their rights and power as citizens, content to be led about by the nose by greedy, dirty, corrupt politicians who embezzle in the lawless nation they created. Poverty has long been embedded into the social and economic framework by the ruling class for the sole objective of power manipulation. The practice became demonstrably obvious under the Buhari administration. This is captured in the dependency and garrison theories. Dependency theory states that a set of core states called the center, and you should think of the center as developed states like America, exploits the less developed ones for economic benefits. In Nigeria, this is a set of few elitist class, creating conditions subjecting impoverished people to slavishness through power dynamics. Intrepid investor and entrepreneur Napoleon Agbelode puts it as,
that is the oligarchic structure where there is a Rankadedesa who manages 300 people every morning. You understand where I'm coming from? Instead of him to create jobs for them to get jobs, he will feed them twice a day. But for Christ's sake, if he says go kill him, you're dead.
Facts. 100%.
Because they all believe that he's the savior. They don't know that he is their enslaver.
There's a reason Sapa and the trenches were one of the most searched terms in 2022. There's a reason why the private sector is failing badly. 100 million Nigerians are estimated to have fallen into extreme poverty by the year's end. And the reason is Nigeria isn't a nation. It's a business run by a handful of elites and the citizens. We are nothing but a product, a minor inconvenience to be exploited by the political elite. Now, I didn't want this video to end on a dark note, so I'll leave you with this. In life, you can only count on yourself, not on anyone, not on anybody, not on any government or laws that anyone has passed. Survival and living a good life are not impossible in Nigeria. It only requires twice the effort and consistency it would require anywhere else. But as a result, Nigerians are built 3 times as tough. You will find a harder worker anywhere else. So trust in yourself, seek knowledge at all times. Increase your earnings, you must first increase your learning. Do not be a victim to Nigerian political exploitation and the weaponization of poverty. That will be all for today. I have a video on entrepreneurship if you want to check that out. The link is going to be in the description, and I'll also link a card here somewhere. So check that out, guys, and I'll see you next time.